Hello, hello. Welcome to the group energy clearing on Sunday. What are we on? August 27th, 2023. It used to be called the resets. And what we really discovered over offering this for a while now is that it's way beyond just like a reconnection back in. We really do activation work. When my spirit team comes in, we are doing like full blown, like I'm tracking of everyone's energies and clearing things out. And so that's why we've changed it to more of calling it a group energy clearing. And the way the energies are lined up today is it's really, really about the people who show up for this. They're on a soul level, they're ready. On a soul level, the folks that come to this are just being called to do the massive shift, massive like clearing out of the old stuff that no longer serves. So welcome, and welcome Tammy as well. So I wanted to we were just talking about the Koki and how they have been bringing forward all these messages, all these transmissions for us, for humanity. And it really, if you have an opportunity to be in their presence, even if it's a Zoom or a recording, what they are bringing forward is just absolutely powerful. And we talked about the Indigenous experience being a very, very, very important part of the collective right now and starting to heal all those wounds. So those are some of the pieces. But one of the things I really want to bring up, and I'm going to share a little story that happened this morning and also explain what's really happening in the collective right now. But I want to say the grandmother energy is so powerful right now. I've been in a training, and there's a couple of us here that are in a womb clearing training that's very intense, very energetically advanced work with a woman named Z Earthstar. And we're in it for like, I don't know, it's like 8 weeks or even more. I'm not even sure. And what came forward so powerfully yesterday was the grandmothers. And she was encouraging us to even tap into our grandmothers. So not like the collective grandmother council or any more kind of spiritual grandmothers right now, but your own grandmothers. And as we were healing massive wounding in our wombs, bringing in the grandmothers and just calling in the grandmothers I'm even aware of, the 2 grandmothers I knew that was very aware of, it's all they want is to help us heal. Whether you had a good relationship or not, whether you knew them or not. I had one grandmother who never said, I love you to my father. And I had another grandmother who had 9 kids and loved her grandkids just like her own and made every single one of them feel special. So I've had kind of the spectrum. And even my grandmother, who didn't know how to express love, had so much love to give that when I called them forward, they just helped clear so much wounding, so much loss. So I bring that forward as we're going into today, because it's another tool for us. It's another way of connecting, and they are just here and ready to work with us. So I'm going to put my lovely dear sister and brother Brandon and Sophia on the spot, because they started a podcast recently. And if you're comfortable with sharing that, you could feel free to put it in the chat. And it's a lovely chat podcast on their experience. And they brought forward something in their second episode with their beautiful dog, Bentley, and the story that they told. And there's a couple of really key pieces that came out of that really reflects what we're experiencing collectively, and a lot of us individually. Thank you, Brandon, for that. I'm watching a lot of people as I work with them, and I'm in all these different spiritual communities, and what I'm hearing in the collective is, because where the energies are, we're in like all these retrogrades, right? Like almost every planet is in a retrograde right now, which is bringing a lot forward. What is happening in our experience right now is there is what feels like a loss or a death of the ego, a loss or death of the identity of who we thought we were and who we are becoming, or who we are remembering who we truly are. So this experience of loss is coming up for a lot of folks right now. And what I'm watching folks even experiencing is even like feelings and emotions from lifetimes of loss, that are lifetimes of their ancestors passing down loss and pain and suffering and all of that. So in our collective experience, not only are we experiencing loss or experiencing like identity shift that feels so intense, that is scary as hell, what we're noticing is that a lot of these things are even beyond this lifetime that we're feeling, we're trudging up, we're experiencing. And all the ancestral stuff is being called forward. So we're experiencing the loss that they have in our lineages as well. So some of this is not even like in our reality, like not even like in our ego, our linear thinking can't even be like, well, where is this even coming from? Because there's so much like purging that's happening, so much of clearing out of all these different energies that may not even make sense. So that's what I'm witnessing so much for folks. So really, we're in that space, and what my grandmothers really brought forward for me, and the Kogi grandmothers, that when they shared last week, is that we get to be in the presence of whatever presents, because we are in it. And it doesn't matter where it comes from, and you can track it, which for some it's really helpful, and that's the work I do. I'll help them track to figure out where it's really coming from, because sometimes people need that to clear it out. But it's the presence is everything. Presence is everything. And getting out of this to analyze everything, make sense of it, having to know it isn't necessarily important right now. So those are some of the key pieces that have been coming forward that I want to share. And I'm circling back to the podcast I was listening to with Brandon and Sophia this morning about their beautiful, beautiful angel, Bentley. And I apologize for bringing this up for you, but it's hit home. Is their level of being present, loving and compassionating, and seeing the spirit of that dog, and being raw and vulnerable in sharing their story, is what is transforming us now, is what is healing us right now. The more vulnerable we can be and just sit in those feelings, that is what's shifting us. That is what's taking us to the next level of where our soul is yearning for us to go. And I've been in that this week, where I like poured my heart and soul out to 3 sisters, and I looked ugly, I looked messy, I was in conflict with them. It was dirty, it was messy, it was all of it. And they kept on holding space for me. I kept on fighting them, challenging them, and they kept on holding space for me, to a point where then I finally shifted and I realized, this is what love feels like. This is what me allowing myself to be as ugly and as messy and as vulnerable as I was, and they just showing up in pure love for me. And explaining to me, because one of my biggest wounds is acceptance, right? Feeling unlovable. They brought that to me, to my knees, and showing me, you matter. I love you. I don't care what this looks like. I love you. I don't care what you're saying if it's mean. I didn't say really anything mean, but I was saying some things that were like hard to hear on all sides. And after that, I totally fell apart and started crying my eyes out when I got off with him. And I realized I am really loved. And so circling back with this podcast, if you get to hear the Bentley story, it brings me back to, again, they were raw, they were vulnerable, they shared their heart, and they were allowed us to come in and see that. And that is what, again, where the true healing is. So I wanted to share that, because we are being pushed up against the resistance of fighting the old ways we were doing things, fighting the ways that we are staying blocked. We are not allowing ourselves to feel. We are not allowing that presence, that love and compassion to come through. We're getting stuck in the stories. We're getting stuck in the wounding, whether it's ours, our ancestors, or wherever it's coming from. And the more we catch ourselves when we are going in those old patterns and behaviors, the more liberated we're going to be. And this is all coming from spirit. This is all coming from the work that I have watched and witnessed people do, as well as myself. I'm in it. So I just wanted to bring that forward. And that's a lot. Whew, it's a lot. And I can't stop crying because it's not even pain anymore. It's just it's wonder, it's magic, experiencing it and feeling it. And it's just allowing whatever emotions come forward to be in it. So thank you for allowing me to share that. Before we start diving into our activation, does anyone need to share or want to share anything before we start to dive in? Yeah, Destin and then Laura. I'm gonna go off mute for a minute.
Hi, Stacy. Oh my goodness, this week has been something else. Half the time I'm not even sure where I'm at, there's so much going on. Um, but I do realize that I've got definitely inner child stuff going on, like wounded inner child and needing to stay inside of the body because I feel like I'm being shifted all over the place. And it is interesting because, like you said, I can feel things where I'm not even at. So I'm kind of having a hard time, like, okay, I can feel this and this and this and this, but I really just want to be here. And then my mental body is like so confused over everything, it doesn't even know what to do. So I'm really grateful that you brought that up because right now I just need to know that I'm okay.
Yeah. And that's what it feels like, is this battle with your old identity, as well as just being present, because being present is our truth, right? And really coming back into who you truly are. And it feels like that struggle, and we're all in it. And you can even probably think of, and I bet everyone has this in some way, like you have these beautiful intentions, right? Like I want to stop eating meat, or I want to like go on a diet, or I want to do this, and you can't. The resistance is so strong. It's even on an emotional level. We're doing this. I want to feel joy. Okay. What's stopping me from feeling joy? Why can't I just feel joy? Whatever it is, we're just in that bouncing back and forth, that resistance, that conflict right now. And I thank the planets for all of this retrograde energy right now, because it's powerful. And there's a new moon coming, or full moon, right? Full moon coming. And that's going to even be another opportunity for us to get very clear on what we want, very clear on the boundaries we want to have, very clear on the direction we're going. And it's going to keep on pinging. It's going to keep, we're just in it, and it's not going to shift for a while. What I keep on getting messages from within me, and then I'm also hearing it externally, is we're in this until about 2025. That's what I keep on hearing. So it's just like, welcome it, be present. And the more you catch yourself in fear and welcome it, say thank you, allow it to leave, the more space you create to be in the wonder, to be in the magic, to be in your soul connection, to be learning about who you are. So exciting. I think about, like, I have an 18-year-old who's trying to figure out her next step in life. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could do it again, right? That wonder, that excitement. She's not in that. She's in fear and anxiety, and she's in her shit right now with it. But I'm trying to be in that, like, I have a puppy, right? And she's 9 months old. And I'm like, or when you have a baby or something, everything is exciting, right? Everything. So that I'm trying to bring back into my life, but not even trying. I'm in it. I'm bringing it forward and being in the excitement, as much as it's uncomfortable and it hurts at times. Thank you, Destin. Okay, Laura.
Yeah, I just want to say how beautiful you went through that whole explanation. I thought that was like that was really beautiful. And yeah, I was there with the grandmothers too, and they've been from the mountain, and they've been. I feel like that one was a powerful transmission, even though sometimes the words that were translated were not great, but the actual energy and actually their transmission was much deeper than what the words can bring. And I felt like what they were saying and what we are talking about, the fact that we want to let go of our identity, our personality, and everything that comes up, it's really going back to innocence, going back to the little child, to really the child wonder, the curiosity, just the acceptance of things the way they are, and just run with that instead of thinking about it too much and thinking, oh, well, that happened because blah, 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 and making all our story in our mind. And I know one part of the elderly transmission was that too. It was just like, bring to humanity this flow of energy that would help to do just that, like have accept without I mean, what they were saying is like let go of the knowledge, let go of what you think you know, let go of all that, you know, what, or everything you read, everything you hear, all the knowledge that you have, because that our mind tries to compare and say, oh, okay, yeah, I know that, I heard that before, or yeah, I know that, I read that, or you know, and in that way we can really feel in our heart what is the truth, you know, deep in our heart. So basically our work is not even to go look for things or purpose or anything like that. Our major work is really seeing what comes up and dissolve it, because by doing that, and that's what happened to me this week, it was just like a major like Christina called it a surgery because it was so deep and so profound and so wild that not even in my wildest dream I would have thought that would have come out of me. So sometimes but you know, if I would have questioned and stopped myself from let that flow of energy going through, then it would not be able to come out that way. It would still be there. Instead, by just letting it be, letting it go, letting it flow, at the end, you know, it was just like, whoa. Well, I was trembling everywhere. And I mean, I went through some major thing, but it liberated me from something that was very deeply ingrained, that I did not know what it was, but I knew that at this point, with all the work we have done in these few years, I knew that was still there and I could not touch. And that one is just, that was the moment. So it's the opportune moment comes for everyone. Is just if we are, it's very, sometimes it's just in whispers. So if our mind can be still enough and in silence enough to listen to these whispers, then the wind will change. But if you know, we listen and then we're like, oh yeah, but and we attach all sort of things onto that, then it will stay there. Another things that they say that I thought was very, was very profound is about the spiral. Like they use the conch, because they say that's the origin of life. The origin, you start from the origin is on the bottom to the origin is on the top, and it's a spiral. And so I actually had a dream about that. I had a dream that I was coming out of the loop, around the circles. So I was like, oh, wow, I was coming out of that loop and I was starting, a spiral was starting to be made. So it's once I feel like that was a profound dream, actually, because it showed me that, yeah, I can come out of that loop. We can come out of that loop where we think we are, where we think, and once we start going around, yeah, we change things, but we're still there. So we recreate, we reattract, certain things. Instead, if we can come out of there and just start spiraling, then we'll go somewhere else, then we move. So I thought that was another thing that was very profound, but beside many others. So I would suggest too, if you are inclined to just listen to them, because just the energy and the transmission that they bring was pretty powerful. But yeah, I feel like innocence. And you know what? We in the work that we're doing, we were our homework a while ago was to make a grid, and I made a grid on innocence. And since then, so much stuff, so much synchronicity happened about innocence. You know, it was just one step after another, after another, after another, that are making me, and the womb work too is like so deep to that, you know, to going back. I feel like the grandmothers, they're willing to give up their wounds. They're willing now. They're happy to give up their wounds. Before it was hard. They were stuck there. But now I feel like they are just, they're ready. They want to free themselves. And so if we can free ourselves, we free all of them, and vice versa. You know, it's just a light. It's just that energy that flow in all our lineages, in ourselves and in the world. So incredible time.
Thank you for that share. And just to let you know about, so the Kogi, they speak their language. There's like 2 members that speak Spanish. So they speak in their language. One of the members translates it, and then there's a Spanish speaking translator who translates it into English. So if you know Spanish, you get a lot more of the like energetic connection to it. But if you don't, the English, I mean, you're just in it. Like you get English too. So it's just like 3 translations happening, which is fascinating to watch, but you're just sitting with the energy, and it's just heart opening, so heart opening. But the language of Spanish, when you get to be in that, it's just like so emotional that it's pretty powerful to hear it. So you Spanish speakers out there will have a little bit different of experience. So Tammy has a question. Yeah, so it's Kogi. Kogi. And I will tell you, for me personally, my husband.
Do you think there is a U in it? Kogui?
Not according to the email that Richard sent.
Oh, I saw it somewhere. I thought it was Kogui, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I this is just kind of what Richard sent. So it could be, I don't know if anyone else, I don't know the stuff, you know, with all of your.
I've just seen it Kogi, but
okay.
You know,
okay.
It's a translation into, you know, for us. So who knows?
Yeah. Yes, Linda.
So Richard's in Canada?
So Richard has a relationship with the Kogi, who are in Colombia. They have, I don't know how they got connected, but somehow they asked Richard to be like his business is the container. He has the Zoom, he has the online registration. So he's holding the space for the Kogi to be access to the rest of the world. So the Kogi are using him to like sign up and everything. And then he sends them the money for the Dream Temple. So that's kind of how it is. So it is like a fundraiser in a way, you know, but again, you can, if money is a thing, I think it's like $44, but if that is not comfortable or you can't do it, I had to at one moment ask them for a sliding scale. I had to ask them for a discount. We were just going through something as a family, and I asked them and they did. So, and then I'll go back to being able to pay whatever, but it's like $44. So again, you can choose how to do it. I will tell you how my husband's Colombian and his lineage. Oh, it's just there's just so much heartbreak. There's just so much there with that lineage. And I have seen what the bringing forward the Kogi energy has done for even his lineage, just from that one experience. So it's been pretty powerful. Just one other thing about the conch shell and the spiraling. If you are ever called to tune into like a spiral energy, just even setting an intention to be in a spiral, it pulls up energy, whether it spirals down, that kind of contains it. You're spiraling it up, it pulls out energy. We do death rites. So I work with a lot of people on doing death rites and helping to reconnect to loved ones, to help them with their transition. And that spiral is a part of it. The spiral is what makes the death rites. And I know Laura and Joe and Callie and Tammy have experienced this. I don't know about you, Susan, and the work you do with Light Body, but we've been in the death rite container, and it's like moving energy out as you're holding space for the loved one to transition. And it is very, very powerful energy to work through. Ooh, okay. We're going to start diving into our activation. I may have to start setting an intention to have this not be just an hour, but maybe like an hour and 15 minutes or something, just to make sure we have enough time for the activation. And I don't want to prevent the shares because they're so powerful. So we're going to start to connect in. And this part of it, you may want to be on recording. You're welcome to be on recording if you want, but your eyes will be closed and everything. And a lot of times people are like, I don't want to be on recording when I'm in my sacred space. So you're welcome to stay on video or not. Yeah, good. So starting to connect within. That means closing your eyes, taking a few breaths. Bringing your awareness behind your eyes. Or you may be called to go right into your heart space or another space within. What that does, bringing your awareness behind your eyes or within your heart, it brings you back into you, brings you into your body, into your light body, into your space, and reconnects you within you. So your awarenesses are not all out of your body. You're pulling your awareness back in, and it brings you into a sovereign connection. That means you're listening to your rhythms within. I love that term, the natural rhythms. It reconnects you with your natural rhythms. It reconnects you with being home. So playing around with connecting with being behind your eyes. Yeah, good. And if you want to call in your spirit team, your entourage, your crew, your guides, this is a good time to call them forward. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And starting to think about the intention that you want to bring forward as we are in this container around the shifting in our identity, who we thought we were versus who we truly are, around bringing forward our authenticity. Yeah. Where we are holding ourselves back from being present and vulnerable. What we are not wanting to let go of. That no longer is our truth. Yeah, there we go. Good. we're going to call upon our grandmothers. So we're going to do this by calling on our lineages first. So I invite you to look towards your left side. Your eyes are closed. It's totally appropriate. But looking towards the left. And I call upon my mother and my mother's people all the way back before time was time. I call upon my mother and my mother's people all the way back before time was time. I call upon my mother and my mother's people all the way back before time was time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you are welcoming your mother's people forward, you are thanking them for their willingness to be here, to connect to the intention that you have to bring forward. You know, thanking them, loving them for the space they are holding. And if you notice feelings or sensations or resistances that come up, allow them to be there. It's a part of the work, the part of the clearing that we'll get to. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And making an extra intention to connect with your grandmother on your mother's side. And if any other grandmothers want to come forward, welcome them. If it's a great grandmother or great 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 grandmother, I'm noticing actually a line of grandmothers that are starting to present. So it feels like your grandmother on your mother's side may be the most present, but there are many grandmothers from that lineage coming forward. Welcome, 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 and thank you, thank you, thank you for holding space for my intention. And they know that supporting you supports them. Supporting you helps to clear out the lineage for all. And notice the feelings and sensations that arise when you bring your grandmother forward. And now I invite you to look to the right, calling upon your father and your father's people. I call upon my father and my father's people all the way back before time was time. I call upon my father and my father's people all the way back before time was time. I call upon my father and my father's people all the way back before time was time. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as they start to arrive, notice if there's any feelings or sensations or resistances that present, allowing them to be there. Yes, and as they arise, if you do have these sensations, you can always call on your spirit team, your entourage, your crew to help with shifting those energies, moving those energies. If your ego is wanting to understand why they are there, you can let it know, let your ego driver know, I hear you and I appreciate you wanting to know. Let's just hold the energy for now and see what presents. We'll find out. We'll know why. Let's just allow the energies to be here so we can start to get more clarity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now calling upon your father's mother, your paternal grandmother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, you may notice that there is a line of grandmothers coming forward, or it may just be one. It just is what it is. And even if you've never met them, don't know them, they're here. Thank you for being here. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. So your other ancestors are stepping back. They're holding space. They are here. Your spirit team is here, connecting with you as well. And they'll continue to hold space as energies need to be cleared. And right now, your grandmothers are taking your hands, one on each side. And it feels like for most of you, your maternal grandmother's on the left, your paternal grandmother is on the right. And they're starting to guide you down a path. So noticing what presents as they start guiding you. Noticing what presents. Are you hesitant? Are you scared? Is there fear? Is there joy? Is there excitement? Is there numbness? Is there just neutrality? Noticing if there's physical sensations arising in the body as the grandmothers start to guide you down a path. Maybe there's visuals, thoughts, feelings. Ah, thank you. And you may have a certain visual of the path you're being guided down. It's going to look different for everyone. And as we are walking, I'm witnessing the drum of the grandmother, the drum beat starting to become more in our awareness. It sounded faint at first, but as you and your grandmothers continue to walk down the path, the drumbeat is getting stronger and stronger. The grandmothers are reminding us that this drumbeat is our natural rhythms. That going back into reclaiming our natural rhythms connects us with our truth. The grandmothers have the drum that they're holding for us. They're holding this drum for all of humanity to wake up to who they are. It will never stop drumming again. So they are welcoming you to reconnect with your inner drum, your natural rhythms. And as you get closer and closer and closer to the drum, that vibration of the drum is starting to melt away energies that no longer serve. They're melting away certain blocks, resistances, distortions, control mechanisms that have locked you down. I am seeing gag orders presenting. I'm seeing chastity belts presenting. I'm seeing even these like metallic back braces presenting for many of you. And they continue to drum even louder, even more forcefully. You are surrounded by the grandmothers with the drum. Your grandmothers are pulling forward these blocks, these blind spots right now. So if you want to circle back to your intention for today, as you are standing in the drum, your grandmothers are telling you, this is the time to bring up your intentions. Show me, help me gain some clarity. Ah, yeah, your grandmothers are starting to pull up. A lot of the old warning from the lineages are presenting certain behaviors that your people push down. And I say push because it does feel like a push, like it has to be this way. There's a control piece. You have to behave in this way. You have to act this way. There's an intensity right now that's presenting versus the subtle adopting of their behaviors right now. This particular frequency is like a forcing upon in the lineages. There we go. Good. This is starting to help release a lot of the chastity belts and the gag orders. Yeah, the ones that of you who have that metallic back brace piece that goes, it's like your spine is metal, and then you have these back braces that hold you up. Those are being removed one by your grandmothers. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for loving me unconditionally and helping me to clear all this out of me. And they're reminding you that you deserve all of this, that you deserve the love, that it is in your true essence to be loved and adored. And the grandmothers are, we wouldn't have it any other way. We wouldn't be anywhere else but here to give you the love and the presence to help clear this out. There's a grandmother that is one of the lead grandmothers of the drum. They are a different frequency than, like, let's say, a grandmother's council. But these grandmothers of the drum, they are bringing forward some gifts for you to receive. For some, you're being handed the mallet to help with playing the drum. You're being given or gifted the responsibility of coming into playing the drum. For others, you are being given medicine. Medicine for yours and others' healing. For others, you are being gifted certain teachings. And these teachings are connected to how to wake up to the illusion that you've been held in. So you can break out of the illusion for yourself, and you will have the tools to help support others in waking up to their truth out of the illusion. There we go. Okay, the grandmothers are ready to take you back. Your grandmothers are. But some of the grandmothers of the drum are starting to place things around you. Scarves, blankets, beads, crowns, necklaces, that sort of thing. Yeah. So you are leaving with what much more than what you started with. And as you are slowly starting to come back with your grandmothers, there are lots of different things melting off of you. I'm watching shame being taken out of you, guilt right in the gut starting to come out of you, rigidity starting to come out of your upper back and out through the spine is coming out of you. Ha ha ha. Oh, this is a big one. I don't know how to say it in one word, but the shutdown of your heart is starting to come out of you. There we go. Leftover gag orders are starting to come out of the throat. That's connected to the shutting down of the heart. You're starting to look like a whole different person as you're walking back, even in your dress, the way you did dress versus the way you are being called to dress is shifting because your identity is shifting. You are coming back into you. And there's new things you're discovering, new aspects of yourself that have not been before. So it's a rediscovery and it's a welcoming in of the new. Beautiful. Wow. Your grandmothers have brought you back to the place we started. Your ancestors are in celebration and feasting right now. I'm seeing glasses being clanged together in celebration, salud, and I'm seeing a widespread of different yummy foods and dance and music as your ancestors celebrate and welcome you back home. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's starting to say, you're starting to say your goodbyes, thanking your ancestors for their love and holding space, thanking your grandmothers for all that they have done for you. For many of you, your grandmothers want to stay as a part of your entourage, a part of your spirit team, at least in the immediate. They may ebb and flow and come out over many lifetimes in your entourage. But for right now, they want to stay with you for a while. And it could be the next few days or the next few weeks. So they're asking you to call upon them for whatever support you need. Even if it's like you're running late to work and you are hitting all these red lights, call upon them to help you to shift the traffic patterns. Call upon them when you are being triggered to help wake you up and support you in why you're being triggered and shifting your energies. Call upon them in dream time. Call upon them in your meditations, because they are here to support, and they have a pretty clear mission at this moment to help right now. Feels like at least through the Mercury retrograde energy, which is, I think, until, I don't even know, like mid-September or something. Yes, they're here to help holding that space we can be in a lot of confusion when we're in this retrograde. So they want to be here to help reground you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, as the confusion continues, yes, they want to help support. Thanking your guides, your entourage, your team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm now starting to come back into this space, this present moment. And if you are feeling altered, it's okay. You can always stay in your altered space. You do not have to come off camera. You can be in your space. But if you are called to come back onto camera, if there's something you want to share, feel free at this time. I'll tell you, we say this is an hour long. We are 2 minutes away to the top of the hour. If you do want to stay and share, I'm going to hold that space. So I'll stay on. If you want to stay altered and just need your space to process and integrate, feel free to leave at any time. But thank you for joining. Oh, we do this every month. Usually it's the fourth Sunday of the month, unless there's 5 Sundays. No, it's always the fourth Sunday of the month, which is typically the last Sunday. We will, I think there's October, September, I think I have to do the week before, because I'm going to celebrate my 20th wedding anniversary and we're going to go away. So yeah, exciting. So the next one I think is the 3rd. So September, I think, is the 3rd. I also do energy tracking clinics where we track into the energies and we really build up our inner voice. We build up our intuition in a powerful collective setting, and we really tune into different frequencies and energies, and we play and we practice. So that is usually the 3rd Monday of the month. So, and I also work with clients privately. And if you're really into the planet stuff, we offer a free planetary encodement activation, and it's with Ray Ellen, who's a powerful astrologist, and that is, I believe, the 2nd or the 3rd Monday of the month. And that's all. You're on the email list and you'll get all that information. Anyone want to share anything?
I'll just share real quick that it was interesting when you said we're being called to dress differently.
Yeah.
Because that's never been me. I've loudly and proudly been like, I'm still wearing the same clothes I wore in high school. And I was like a long time ago. And recently I had a dream. I won't go through the whole thing. I'll keep it short, but I had this like divine helmet on. It's all white and beautiful. And when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't see it. But then I saw a helmet that looked like my baseball caps that I know. I was like, oh, I know these. Yeah, I'll wear this one. And then I put it on. I put it on backwards even, because I'd always wear my hats backwards. And it was so heavy on my head. And there was more symbolism to it. But the message was that I'm not seeing myself as this new powerful,
Mm.
you know, uh, person of the light, however you want to
Yeah,
say it.
I love that.
So, for the first time in like 20 years, I shopped for new clothes the other day. And so it was like a validation that that was part of this meditation for me.
Oh my gosh, it's so like the truth. Wow. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even more flowy and non-guy like. You know what I mean? Like
I
it'll
got
be
this really long, like it goes down to like below my knees, and it has like these feathers on it, and it looks like a cape that like the professors in Harry Potter wear, like long and flowy, like what you're saying.
wow. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone
I
else?
just want to
Yeah.
validate you too, Stacy. So I also have been called to dress differently in the way that I initially knew was my essence, but was shut down. And so that's resurfacing for me in a whole new way, and it's coming through in dreams very strongly. So I just want to validate that.
Ooh. Yeah, thank you. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, Destin.
Wow. I was really feeling into it and feeling the healing and really loving the energy with the grandmothers. And then something inside of me was unsure.
Hmm.
Like there was a fear within me of, well, what if it's not one of the grandmothers or
Mm.
blah, blah, blah. And that threw me totally off. So now I'm just kind of feeling in that weird space of possible, like a slight fear. When I'm like, keep telling myself, I trust, I trust. Okay,
Yes.
so this is a call for I trust
Yes.
because I do trust.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just it's your ego has been comfortable with always questioning, second guessing, right? So the more you go back into that trust, the more you go back into that trust, you start to really shift those behaviors and those patterns and the energetic blocks a lot. You really do. And I mean, again, the grandmothers are here. The grandmothers are here. They're supporting you in that. So even if like you're stuck in it and you can't get yourself out, even just calling upon your grandmothers to help you clear it and having that faith, having that trust is a big one.
Thank you, Stacy.
You are just so hardcore. Anytime you're in the hospital, you still show up. It's amazing, Dustin. You're really powerful. It shows how much you show up for you're wanting to show up for yourself.
I'm starting to understand what this is all about too. Like I'm starting to understand what's going on with regards to this hospital thing. And I'm thinking I'm just going to learn to trust myself and calling for more help with regards to that as well.
Yes. Yes. A massive shift in your field, massive shift. I can feel it. There feels like there's more peace.
Oh, girl, that's what I've been really, really wanting. It's just that piece of understanding within myself. I'm getting there. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Anyone else want to share before we wrap up? Tammy.
Immediately when we went to our father's side, calling forth our father, and I called forth my grandmother's on this side. As soon as I just the thought, I could feel this closure in my throat, and I could feel it with all of them. So that gag order, not even knowing that's what it was until you said that. And recently I actually had a cease and desist order filed against me. So even though I was speaking truth and verified all the information before I would even speak, because it's ruffling feathers. That's putting it nicely. And anyway, it's just like all this releasing that and releasing it. I could feel this
Ooh.
going back through because my dad's mother was like that. She didn't speak up for herself, like all these women, all these grandmothers. And I
Yeah.
could feel that my maternal side was actually holding space for the grandmothers. The grandmothers on my maternal side were holding space. I feel that even more right now as I'm sharing this. We're holding space for all the grandmothers on my my paternal grandmother even passed away from throat cancer. So
Wow.
yeah. So releasing this gag order, I never realized that's what it was. But I have, as you know, as we work in labs together, a lot of times I have felt, or work in groups or whatever, I have felt this constriction in my throat, like internally, a squeezing off of my voice, of my inner, and it just, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where that goes. What is opening up within me now? That curiosity, like I can, just these chills. And there was something else that was coming forth to share, but that yeah, I can even feel my paternal grandmothers are celebrating. Like there's even this lifting up of the back of the shoulders, almost like where my wings are, of just this energy, this lifting, like a very, like a smoke, but not a smoke. Yeah. And when we began, I was actually, when you said the drum was there, for me, I could feel the drum, I could see the drum, and it was in fire, like almost like white flames.
Wow.
And I stood in the center of it. I was standing on the outside and was just pulled in, like, yes, this is a safe fire. We want you to stand, like, surrounded by all of the grandmothers, all my grandmothers.
Mm.
And I stood in that fire, in those flames. And it just, and the drum was in the flames that they were gifting me, that was showing up for me. That feels better. The drum that was showing up for me was within those flames. And it was okay for me to step into those flames. And they had to coax me a little bit. And then I stepped into them and just stood there. And when you talking about, when you're talking about the clothing, I could see, like, I didn't see what I was wearing before, but then I could see what I was wearing after you brought that forth. And there is a royalty, or it's even a higher word than that.
Yes.
And I too, I know my clothing is changing, like presently. I'm even working with a lady that she talked, like, each one of us have a power color that we came forth with, like, and to wear those colors that are unique to our systems, our soul, our spirit, and still developing that. Not just wear them, but even have them in your environment.
Wow. Powerful.
And that soul speak is just incredible. And this lady's been doing her work for decades.
Wow.
So you just confirmed that for the feedback loop right there, Stacy.
Yeah. That was the grandmothers.
Yeah.
It doesn't come to, it's not you know what I mean? It's the grandmothers. All
Yeah.
of that was
Yeah.
them.
Because I was questioning about something and the last few days, and I'm like, okay, feedback loop. I know this is a bigger yes in regards to color and me and the
Yeah.
change up of wardrobe.
I'll tell you, I cannot get this one outfit off my mind. I'm like, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm not going to spend the money. But it just like in every meditation, it's not me. It's like spirit keeps on bringing in this one outfit that's like hacky. I wear like dark clothes. I don't wear like light. And so even that, I'm like, how is that going to match with my skin? But it is by Linda, is something there. And I just have to like, okay, maybe I just got to order it. I just got to do it, So I'm just trying to like just be in that presence too. And it really is something about that. There's something. So, well, thank you, everyone. Love you, love you, love you. And we'll see you in the next month.
Thank you, Stacy.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Stacy.
Bye.
Bye.